ARK is one of those games that has a way of humbling even the best players. What I thought was just going to be the second day of this solo playthrough ended up being a horrible experience. As always, I did persevere and push through, and we did make a lot of progress today, however, a lot less than I would have liked to. A continuous stream of misfortune and bad luck leads to some really shitty events, but overall, at the end of the day, I did come out on the better side. I hope you guys enjoy this content, and if you do, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into the video. I started off today the same way you always should, by loading in and checking our tribe logs before moving our raft from its secure location. The first thing I had planned for today was to get our base location picked out and our crafting station set up. In ARK, getting hidden as fast as possible and out of the open is really important. You can't stay on a raft for forever. It wouldn't be ARK without running into some game-breaking bugs that cost me hours. After getting all that sorted out, we ended up grabbing all of our prefabbed supplies and headed up to our base location. We're going to get the first draft of our crafting station down, which it will be broken down and rebuilt later, but to get the area secured, we just needed to get it down so that we could work out of it. After that, we get started with massive metal runs. Once again, it wouldn't be ARK without a bunch of bullshit, and the very first RG I ended up taming this run ended up dying on me. I ended up getting stuck in a situation with very low health and no stamina. After that, I decided I was going to go and try and get an angler, and I think that was one of the worst decisions I've made yet. I never have had amazing luck in the water on ARK Survival Evolved. However, it is an area that I don't go to a lot. I figured I would take a frog into the water, and I ended up getting fucked by floppy fish in the process of looking for anglers. I then went and tamed another Argentavis. After taming an RG, I decided to tame a Parasaur as well so that I had a creature I could fall back on for berries, because I would end up doing a large amount of taming and gathering a large amount of narco berries. I then made a trap and attempted to tame a Spino. It was a 130, and apparently Spinos don't like to get in the traps, and I ended up, just doing this. This is the proper way to use a trap, by the way. After successfully knocking it out, I got some food in its inventory. However, by the time I would get back to it, it would be gone. This would actually end up being my third attempt to get anglers. I was having bad luck this morning. I actually spent about 8 hours today trying to get an angler and failing constantly, just between all the other bullshit and build up to get to go underwater, and then getting underwater and spending all that time looking for one just to not tame one. It was a massive loss of time today. After retrieving the Baryonyx and getting back to base, we went back to gathering necessary resources, as I would end up rebuilding the crafting station completely. My original build for this crafting station relies on chemistry benches, but as biolabs are so much better than chemistry benches, it is just better to use them, and I had to make them fit here, which was a process. After a complete redesign of the pedestals that the industrial forges sit on and basically breaking down the middle, I was able to fit both mega labs. However, it would be a process to get them both down, because I would end up having to break the industrial forge I had already built to put down the second one, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit. After figuring that out, I had determined that I would end up having to make 2 industrial forges again and the opposite mega lab, so I got started gathering resources right away. After determining that I could not fit the mega lab underneath the industrial forge without breaking the industrial forge, I went back to the boat and got started gathering resources. After getting the second biolab and both industrial forges crafted, I went ahead and broke the industrial forge that we had down prior and restructured the crafting station. After doing this, I finally had the layout I wanted, having both mega labs accessible and the industrial forges accessible from the front, allowing me to port metal and resources extremely fast. I know to a lot of people, and especially longtime ARK players, doing this seems insane because of the amount of resources that it would cost. However, a well-optimized, well-built crafting station is worth taking the time to design and build in the long run, I promise. I have played this game for years, and I'm always the person to redesign and rebuild these, because if it's not perfect, I will make it perfect. I have crafting station designs for solo players all the way up to mega tribe bases for hundreds of players to use, and I'm extremely good at this, so when I say it saves you time over the long run and it's worth doing, trust me. After getting the crafting station laid out, it was time to add some storage to the base. After this, I would make a trip back out to the boat to gather more resources and start taming, and somebody would end up calling me out in chat. I would end up finding a backup Inkleo and deciding to tame a backup Dodic as well, just in case our actual farming dinos ended up getting killed. While the Dodic and Inkleo were taming, I decided to set up some RG traps and lure over some high level RGs as well so that I could have a breeding pair in my base constantly laying eggs, that way we didn't get our breeders killed. After getting all of those tamed up, I would end up heading back to the base. I would end up positioning my breeder RGs on the left side of the crafting station as I don't really have a lot of room in this location. After that, I would get started getting water up to the base. After getting the first few water stations down, I would actually leave the base and go get silica pearls, oil, and tame a breeding pair of pteranodons while I'm out. After getting back to base, I would finish setting up water to the base. I would end up dying in the process of doing this, and realizing that my beds don't work at my base, I would end up having to go back to the beach and tame a pteranodon to get back in time to get my bag. I did eventually make it back to my base, however it was not in time to collect my bag, so I did end up having to remake my primitive kit and remake the structures that were in my inventory. After making sure water was in the base, I ended up setting up a cooker so that I could have cooked meat and water for my character anytime I was in the base. After all that, it was getting late, so I decided to call it a day, parking my raft and logging off. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.